For the 38th time, Jason renamed my design drawings to elevate Mia's status. I did not become hysterical as usual. Instead, I indifferently replied, "As long as you're happy." He always said that I was just a money-making machine brought in by his grandfather, and if it weren't for me occupying the position of his wife, Mia would be the only candidate for his spouse. It wasn't until my cherished painting was torn apart by Mia, and I was falsely accused in return, that I understood why Jason was so insistent on her. Since he was blind and mistook the wrong person, why should I continue to endure unnecessary hardship? Upon learning that I was preparing to leave Jason, my best friend was so excited she spoke incoherently. "Tonight, let's order 18 male models to celebrate your escape from the sea of suffering." I smiled, glanced at the increasingly approaching shadow on the table, and hung up the phone. Turning around, I saw Jason casually asking, "What male models?" I suppressed my smile and casually prevaricated, "New models recruited by the company." He didn't ask further, while I stared at the milk tea in his hand, slightly lost in thought. "Craving it? It's for you." On the day of the beginning of autumn, everyone's moments were filled with posts flaunting milk tea as couples' affection. I had pestered Jason for a long time but failed to get him to buy me one. Unexpectedly, he saved it to make up for it on the beginning of winter, causing my heart to tremble slightly. Opening the drawer, my hand had just touched the allergy medicine when Mia's coquettish laughter reached my ears. "Brother Jason, thank you for the milk tea, it's even better than the first one you ordered for me last autumn." Jason's eyes were full of indulgence. "You can ask me to buy it any time you want. This milk tea can be considered as your treat for the whole company. As for your promotion gift, I'll think of another one." I was stunned for a moment and took a long time to react. The appearance of this milk tea was not because he took my words to heart, but because it came as a byproduct of someone else's favor. Mia raised her eyebrow. "Sister Roselle, I specially added double milk to yours, hurry and taste it." Jason, who never liked sweets, held the milk teacup that clashed with his style and explained to me. "Mia has brought significant profits to the company in these 2 months, so the company has decided to promote her to director of the design department. From now on, she will be your superior. You must obey her words unconditionally." I nodded without rebutting. However, I still pushed away the milk tea in front of me. "I'm allergic to dairy products, I can't drink even a bit." As soon as the words fell, Jason's face instantly darkened. "I thought you had become obedient. Mia has just taken office, and you're already relying on your seniority to give her a show of force?" Mia hurriedly inserted herself between us, with a pitiable crying tone. "Brother Jason, you mustn't quarrel because of me. I understand that someone like me, who has just started working less than a year and sits in the director's position, will inevitably make people unconvinced." Jason distressfully wiped her tears. "With me here, no one can gossip." When he looked at me again, his brows and eyes were full of reproach for my immaturity. "Before, you were clamoring to drink it, and now you're acting up again. Why do you have so many bad ideas, insisting on disgusting others?" My eyelids twitched slightly. So he remembered, he just didn't want to buy it for me. My mouth opened and closed, but in the end, I said nothing. Knowing that the allergy would be uncomfortable yet still wanting to have ordinary boyfriend-girlfriend interactions with him, such thoughts. I mocked myself, it was indeed quite pretentious. Jason left holding Mia, who was crying almost to the point of fainting. I sighed, suppressing the sourness in my heart. Just after typing my resignation letter, a colleague brought newly bought lemon water. Jason said it's the drink Mia director is treating for her promotion, no one can miss it. He also repeatedly instructed me to record a video proving you drank it. "Sister Roselle, please help me." Unwilling to see my colleague in a difficult position, I drank a sip. But not long after, my body started to heat up, and red blotches appeared on my skin. At the hospital registration, I was told all doctors were busy. After waiting half a day, an intern nurse finally came. "Your allergy is quite severe, I'll arrange an infusion for you right away." In boredom, I took out my phone and saw Mia's Moments post from 5 minutes ago. Shocking. Boss spends 100,000 to buy high-concentration colorless and odorless milk essence to vent anger for employee. The comments below were all praising her. Director Mia, you didn't see, Roselle looked like the red boy. Director Mia, Jason pampers you so much, are you two about to have good news? My heart ached sharply, and my eyes gradually misted up. Jason opposed office romances, outside of work time and necessities, he absolutely forbade me from stepping into his office. Even when meeting in the hallway, I had to stay 1 meter away from him. Once, eager to share good news with him, I accidentally smiled at him. He deleted and blocked all my contact information and even changed the home door lock. After living in a hotel for a month, I finally got his forgiveness. Don't do that again, I don't like it. So I tried hard to become what he wanted, becoming the ice cube that colleagues mocked behind my back. However, since Mia arrived, his so-called principles vanished overnight. They appeared together everywhere, having afternoon tea and watching movies in his office, chatting and laughing merrily. Even under Mia's planning, they were voted the most matching man and woman in the office building. 5 years couldn't compare to 3 months. He didn't oppose office romances, he just detested me getting too close. During the infusion, several nurses' discussions reached me. Isn't that Jason's girlfriend? With red eyes from crying, he booked all the doctors in the hospital to be on standby. Oh my! A domineering CEO comes to life, so romantic. I stared at the dripping four, suddenly recalling a stormy night a year ago. On the way to deliver documents to Jason, I was hit by an electric bike, scraping my face. Limping to find him, he pressed a napkin on my wound, frowning tightly. Hurry back, don't scare people. From then on, even if I was injured, I would hide it well. Physical pain was far less than the pain from disappointment. Back home, I started packing luggage. While flipping through books in the study, a yellowed drawing suddenly slipped out and floated down. The background was an amusement park, with 2 children as subjects. A sense of familiarity hit me, but before I could think deeply, an angry roar came from the door. Who allowed you to touch my things? Jason shoved me aside, and books from the shelf fell on my head like raindrops with thud thud thud. Darkness flashed before my eyes. Along with it, childhood memories emerged one by one. Jason, with red-rimmed eyes, confirmed the painting was undamaged and sighed in relief. This painting. I had just spoken when he interrupted. This was given to me by Mia when she was little, it's very precious, not even 10 of your lives could compensate for it. Mia, standing behind him, flashed a trace of guilt in her eyes upon hearing this. She tugged at Jason's sleeve, urging him, Brother Jason, hurry and take the things and go, Boss Chen is still waiting for us to dine. As they turned, I called out to Jason. Are you sure this painting is Mia's? Jason frowned, about to speak, when Mia's tears fell like a faucet. Sister Roselle, why do you rob everything from me? If it's not mine, could it be yours? As she ran out the door, the doubt in Jason's eyes dissipated. Your lies are getting more outrageous. He glared at me fiercely, I'll deal with you when I return. Then he chased after her. I stood in place for a while before continuing to pack. The items were neither too many nor too few. Feeling, I threw couple items one by one into a cardboard box and labeled it as waste. By the time everything was sorted, it was already dawn. My head felt dizzy, repeatedly rolling through childhood scenes at the amusement park. I didn't fall asleep until the sky slightly brightened. However, shortly after falling asleep, I was awakened by the sound of the door being broken. Opening my eyes, I saw several strange men rushing into the room. They pulled me out from under the quilt. My face turned pale, enduring inner panic. Who are you? Do you know breaking into a private residence is illegal? Leave immediately, and I can pretend nothing happened. But not only did they not let go, their gazes boldly scanned back and forth over my chest. It's Jason who asked us to escort you back to the company, offending him means you'll suffer the consequences. Hearing they were Jason's people, my suspended heart relaxed a bit. Probably he was still blaming me for Mia crying last night. After a night, the suppressed memories had all surged up. I wasn't afraid to confront them about the painting's creation ideas. Wait outside, I need to change clothes. The men showed lewd smiles. Change what? You look pretty good like this. Ignoring my resistance, they forcefully pushed me into the car. Wearing a thin nightgown, I was pointed at by colleagues coming and going in the office building. Seeing my disheveled appearance, a trace of displeasure appeared on Jason's face. But as his hand just touched his suit button, Mia angrily accused me. Roselle, you've gone too far. I tolerated your usual targeting of me, but how could you tear up the painting I gave to brother Jason? The painting, wasn't it taken by Jason last night? Puzzled, I looked up and met Jason's sinister eyes. It seemed the fleeting pity earlier was just my illusion. I shook my head at him and calmly said, I didn't do it, don't accuse me right away. Jason raised his hand. Soon, 2 people came in, one of whom was the colleague who gave me lemon water yesterday. Mia walked in front of them, her voice gentle, but her eyes full of threat. Don't be afraid, just truthfully recount what you saw last night. They seemed encouraged and spoke eagerly. Around 11 o'clock, we had just finished overtime and were preparing to leave when we saw Roselle return. She angrily entered Jason's office, came out with something, and went to the shredder. A few minutes later, she entered Jason's office again. I listened incredulously to their nonsense. But obviously, Jason believed it. He picked up the shredded strips, his eyes bloodshot, and kicked me in the chest. With witnesses and evidence present, do you still want to quibble? I gasped heavily, this so-called evidence was just fabricated charges. I didn't return to the company last night at all, you can check the surveillance to see if I did it. Jason seemed to have anticipated this and played the surveillance video. With one glance, my face turned ashen. In the footage, a woman wearing my clothes went from home to the company, every step matching the two's testimony. I was shocked by this premeditated false accusation and retreated 2 steps. Mia thought I wanted to escape. Catch her, don't let her run. I was pressed to the ground, unable to move. Jason squatted down, lifted my chin, his eyes colder than I had ever seen. Thought you could avoid it by not coming to work today? I warned you not to touch my painting, not only did you shred it, but you also put it in the office to openly provoke me. Did you really think I wouldn't touch you? With a crack, my jaw dislocated, stifling my explanations in my throat. I don't want to hear another lie from your mouth. If you don't temper your temper properly, the ones losing face in the future will be our entire G family. He ordered people to lock me in a glass box and release hundreds of spiders. Cold sweat slid down my back, with red eyes, I desperately pounded, emitting muffled pleas. Jason, please let me out. He knew I was afraid of small animals. He had once said he wouldn't let even a cockroach near me. Spiders crawled one after another onto my exposed skin, biting me bite after bite. My body gradually grew cold, vision blurred, and the pounding sounds weakened. Tears fell to the ground, I silently mouthed, Jason, I hate you. Jason finally noticed something wrong with me, frowned, and was about to call someone to open the door. Mia suddenly exclaimed, I don't know what brand of lipstick Sister Roselle bought, it actually changes color. Jason paused and chuckled lightly. Want it? I'll give it to you. Mia clapped in delight, thank you, brother Jason. In a haze, I seemed to hear Jason instructing the security to release me in an hour. But I waited and waited, from dawn to dusk. As consciousness faded, I only heard the sound of glass shattering and anxious shouts. Embraced in a warm hug, I completely sank into darkness. A week later, Jason attended an auction and met Evelyn, whom he hadn't seen for years. Jason, I saw your fiancé's photo at your grandfather's place. I didn't expect you to have such fate with that girl, met once as children, and can tie the knot as adults. Jason's heart skipped a beat, his voice trembling imperceptibly. Mom, what are you saying? Before he finished, applause from the door covered his voice. I appeared in full dress, arm in arm with a handsome man. Jason's expression went from shock to anger to panic. How could you be with him? Jason's question dissipated in a wave of flattery. Hello, Harlan, I'm Eric from Hengda Technology, pleased to meet you. It's rare for Harlan to come from the capital. May I ask if there's any auction item Harlan likes? Just say the word, and I'll handle it for you. Harlan curved a dismissive smile. Highest bidder wins. I, Chui, always follow the rules. As for what I like, it depends on what catches Director Roselle's eye. He lowered his head, gently looking at me. The surroundings were full of shrewd people, naturally seeing Harlan's care for me. They shifted topics to me, praising my beauty or admiring my vision in joining the Chui group. Inadvertently, my gaze fell on Jason outside the crowd, frowning. He had just lifted his foot when his arm was grabbed by Mia returning from the restroom. She pouted, with her usual coquettish complaint. Brother Jason, where are you going? Weren't you afraid I'd get lost and agreed to wait here? Seeing the elegant woman before her resembling Jason, she asked puzzled, this is. Although Evelyn was unclear why the woman beside Jason had changed. But accustomed to big scenes, she quickly composed herself. I am Jason's biological mother. Evelyn and Jason's father had divorced when Jason came of age, a fact known in the circle. But Mia didn't know. She covered her mouth with her hand, as if smelling gossip. Your brother Jason's mom? Then the woman who came to the company before, couldn't be the cuckoo occupying the magpie's nest. Ah San, right? Her voice weakened, but it still drilled into their ears. Evelyn's smile instantly froze. Jason's face also darkened. What nonsense, this is my mom, that was my stepmother. This was the first time Jason spoke sternly to her. Mia quickly straightened up. Switching to an obedient tone, hello, Auntie. I'm brother Jason's subordinate, he takes special care of me, the best boss I've ever met. Auntie, please rest assured, I will repay kindness with kindness and properly repay brother Jason. I'll urge brother Jason to eat, and send warmth whenever he needs it. Mia hugged Jason's arm, calling him intimately. Evelyn's eyelid twitched, unsure whether to pursue the earlier topic. But soon, her doubts were resolved. Jason pried open Mia's hand. In his haste to leave, he didn't control his strength. Mia fell backward on the ground, exposing her sexy underwear. She screamed in fright, hurriedly covering with her hands, but found that people around disdained to look at her. They all went in a certain direction, even Jason. Finally, only a waiter helped her up. Mia, who should have gone to the restroom to tidy up, inexplicably felt uneasy and limped after them. Before approaching the crowd, that familiar voice resounded through the room. Put down your dirty hand, don't touch my fiancé. The crowd's chatter stopped abruptly. Jason's face was dark, his eyes sparking as if to burn Harlan's arm. He stepped forward, extending his hand to me. Roselle, come here. He thought he could still command me as before, with just a look or gesture. I stared at his veined palm, the wounds from the poisonous spiders faintly ached. Glancing over his smug face, I rolled my eyes. Harlan couldn't hold back and laughed. His tone carried slight anger. You're Jason? Not that impressive. My fingertips trembled subconsciously, feeling he meant more than one thing. Seeing me ignore him, Jason was stunned, repeating once more. But he still got my silent refusal. Although the G family couldn't compare to the Chui family, it had some status in Shanghai. Someone stepped out as a peacemaker. Jason, did you mistake her? This is Director Roselle brought by Harlan. Upon hearing, Jason loudly rebutted, how could I mistake my own fiancé? In the past, Jason never brought me to banquets, they hadn't seen me, so how could they know I was Jason's fiancé? Meeting his bloodshot eyes, I calmly said, our engagement has long been annulled, now I have no relation to you. Mia, squeezing into the crowd, brightened her eyes upon hearing this. Brother Jason, Roselle abandoned you and didn't cherish you, she's the one who's blind. Turning to me, brother Jason has a big family business, swear to heaven that you won't entangle him anymore. As soon as Mia finished, everyone looked at her as if she were a fool. Compared to the Chui family, the G family was just the tip of the iceberg. In their perception, I had already attached to Harlan, so the G family had nothing to do with it. I had no need to comply with Mia's request. But in Jason's eyes, he misunderstood. Get lost to the side, when I talk to Nocel, it's not your turn to interrupt. Mia incredulously widened her eyes, her tear-incontinent nature soon had her tears streaming. Her previously infallible tricks no longer gained the man's pity. Jason couldn't see her pitiful look, his heart and eyes were full of me. Nocel, I don't blame you for jealously damaging my painting, don't say those angry words anymore. Come to me now, I'll let bygones be bygones, and we can be like before. Like before? Being humble to the point of losing myself? Or him casually giving away my hard work? If Jason had extended this hand earlier, perhaps I would have softened. But now, it's all too late. The auction started, staff came out to maintain order. Jason was forced to stop entangling. Harlan and I sat together, while he and Mia sat on the other side. Separated by an aisle. I leaned to Harlan's ear and whispered, so the place you mentioned is the auction? Newly joined, Harlan said he wanted to give me a gift. Originally I didn't want it, but my friends said, Harlan has long wanted to invite you to join, now his wish is fulfilled. Satisfy him, give him a chance to perform. You don't need to feel burdened, every new employee gets one. Since everyone has it, I couldn't refuse Harlan's kindness anymore. But from preparing a gown and styling for me, to holding a bidding paddle here, it felt strange somehow. Low murmurs brushed my ears like a breeze. If you see something you like later, just tell me. As soon as he spoke, I received a text from my friend. Nocel, did you receive your 1,000 yuan shopping cart gift? Let's go shopping together then. At the same time, the auction host struck the gavel loudly. Jade earrings, starting at 10 million. Your gift, my gift, seemed different. An indescribable feeling arose in my heart, I had to pretend not to know. But the faint heat rising on my face betrayed my current mood. Like it? I sat straight, dazedly shaking my head. Although I knew his intentions, I couldn't accept without merit, especially such valuable items. So, the first, second, to the 10th item, I rejected them all. Strangely, Jason also sat idly without bidding, while Mia beside him was enthusiastic. The next lot was a calligraphy and painting by a master. When Harlan asked again, like it? I hesitated only a second before speaking, but he seemed to have seen through my heart. 20 million. As soon as he said it, Jason on the other side also raised his paddle. The others, seeing Harlan liked it, tacitly didn't bid. Suddenly, only their confrontation remained on the floor. A merchant who had cooperated with Jason a few times advised him. Don't bid, offending the Chui family is like offending the entire capital. Even if far away, you can't prevent sycophants deliberately tripping you to please him. The price had reached 100 million. Jason not only ignored the advice but declared resoundingly, light the sky lantern. The crowd was in uproar. Feeling the scorching gazes from all sides, Mia suddenly felt honored. She pinched her voice, Brother Jason, although I'm a designer and usually like calligraphy and paintings, you really don't need to spend big money for me. Compared to that, don't you think the pearl necklace earlier suits my temperament better? Mia's probe got no response. Jason turned his back to her, smiling towards me. Nocel likes it, I'll get it no matter the cost. I held down Harlan's hand about to raise the paddle again. Coldly, I don't care for your things, save them for your little lover. In the years with him, I never received a gift, not even a cup of milk tea. Now, for a man's dignity, to fight for face, he bids over 100 million. Mia's blush turned pale. Brother Jason. I'm your companion. Didn't you say you brought me to pick a promotion gift? Jason impatiently withdrew his arm, then as if thinking of something. Your position needs re-evaluation. What? Mia excitedly stood up, the chair leg scraping the floor with a piercing sound, drawing full attention. Everyone knows I'm the director, doing this will make me lose face. Jason glanced at her and whispered, have you forgotten how your achievements came about? Every time I had a new work, Jason would send my design concepts and drawings to Mia. He ambiguously claimed they were his inspirations to ease Mia's burden. But Mia knew this early on. Once, she even flaunted in front of me, "Even if your brother Jason's fiancé, it doesn't match my one word." But at this moment, Mia naturally pretended not to know. "Brother Jason, what do you mean? The inspirations were voluntarily given by you, I didn't force you." Jason was choked, thinking of past harms to me, feeling deep regret and self-blame. Holding the auctioned calligraphy, he came before me. "Roselle, I know what you're angry about. Tomorrow I'll announce that the director position is yours." I snorted coldly. "I'm now the director of the Chui Group. Why would I care for your G Group's director?" Hearing this, the onlookers laughed out loud. Doesn't even weigh his own strength, daring to snatch people from the Chui family? Jason was stunned. The calligraphy fell to the ground with a muffled thud. "Impossible, you won't leave me." At this moment, he finally realized I wasn't throwing a tantrum or joking. I really didn't want him anymore. Jason tried to grab my hand but was blocked by Harlan. I stood behind, coldly saying, "Jason, my contract with your G family expired long ago. I didn't leave before because I loved you, but when you hurt me, I completely lost hope in you. I didn't expect you to be so deranged as to release poisonous spiders on me. If not for Harlan arriving in time, I might have died." My gratitude to the G family ended completely at that moment. "Roselle, what are you saying? I admit scaring you last time was my fault, but my purpose was just to make you restrain your temper, not to harm you." I caught Mia's guilty expression. "Is that so?" I pointed. "Then you really should ask this woman about her actions." Mia forced composure, her eyes flickering. "Why, you don't talk nonsense, I didn't do anything." I had no interest in her sophistry and left the auction under Harlan's protection. Jason watched my figure recede longingly. Clenching his fists, his face extremely gloomy. His look at Mia was like looking at a dead person. "Mia, haven't I been good enough to you usually? Why did you harm Roselle?" Mia's legs weakened in fear. "Brother Jason, I didn't mean to. I like you, I don't want you to marry another woman. I know you like me too, but suppress your feelings due to responsibility. Since Roselle doesn't want you now, we can be together legitimately. You always say that childhood me accompanied you through the most helpless moments. From now on, can you hold my hand and stroll through life?" Jason recalled his childhood, getting lost in the amusement park. Teary-eyed, only calling for Mom, it was a little girl's appearance that steadied his panic. That day the sky was blue, the girl's smile brighter than the sunflowers in the park. She grabbed his hem. "Brother, are you looking for your mom?" "Balloon for you, don't cry." The girl pointed to the nearby balloon seller, saying it was her family, who would help find his mom. While waiting, she drew a painting for him. "My dream is to be a designer, brother, can you be my first customer? But no need for money, just smile." Later, Mom found him and insisted on buying all the girl's family's balloons. Before leaving, the girl said, "We'll meet again." Because of that sentence, he chose the design industry, always thinking he'd see his little son again someday. Until Mia joined the company and almost spilled coffee on that painting. He was very angry and decided to fire her. But she said, "Jason, I've drawn such paintings before, if you like, I can compensate with 100. He asked if Mia had met him as a child. Mia said, "Honestly, you look familiar too." At that moment, he was convinced Mia was the one he sought. But actually, his feelings were complex. He couldn't abandon Roselle, so except for the wife's position, he compensated in other ways as much as possible. Mia wanted fame and money, so he suppressed Roselle to help Mia rise. He thought he controlled everything, believing Roselle would never leave him in this life. Was this fate without destiny? Was he doomed to choose Mia for his childhood self? His heart was in chaos, unsure what to do. After wiping his face in the restroom, at the corridor's end, he saw Evelyn waiting long. Jason's mind flashed Evelyn's words from the opening. She said she saw Roselle's photo at grandfather's. And said they met as children? Jason strode to Evelyn. Mom, you said you saw my fiancé, is it Roselle? But did I know her as a child? Evelyn was a bit surprised. Don't you know that the girl beside Harlan earlier is the one who accompanied you when you got lost in the amusement park as a child? I remember that painting, you've always treasured it. It was as if something in his heart cracked and shattered. Jason's face turned pale, almost unable to stand. You didn't remember wrong? Evelyn shook her head. She was a beauty embryo from childhood, hasn't changed much, perhaps you were too young, impression not as deep as mine. Cold sweat beaded on his forehead, Jason rushed out without thinking. Brother Jason, where are you going? Jason, red-eyed, pushed Mia to the ground. You lied to me. Damn it. Mia, I'll make you pay. The G Group held a press conference. Jason voluntarily admitted stealing my 38 design drawings for Mia, returning the honors bestowed on her to me. The G Group stocks plummeted. Jason handed the collected evidence of Mia damaging private property and attempted murder to the police. The day Mia was taken away, she cursed Jason like a madwoman. It's all your fault, without your indulgence, I wouldn't have been so ruthless. Jason, I curse you to die alone, never getting what you want forever. Jason trembled, murmuring. No. You crazy hag, I'll tear your mouth. They tangled in a fight. When separated, Mia lost her lower lip, Jason a finger. A bloody mess. Jason was detained for over 10 days. Upon release, he flew to the capital immediately. Downstairs at the company, he was thin, full of stubble. Seeing me, his eyes reddened instantly. Sorry, Roselle, I didn't know Mia was so vicious. Did you see the news? I've severely punished her, her days inside won't be easy. I'll avenge all your grievances. He stepped forward, my bodyguards immediately surrounded him, not letting him near. Jason tears streamed, clenching fists pounding his chest. I was blind, you came to my side long ago, but I didn't notice. Trembling, he took out the patchwork-like painting from his bag. Roselle, this is what you gave me as a child, our fate connected over 20 years ago. Roselle, can you not leave me alone like in childhood? I know I have many flaws, this time I'll change. You can hit or scold me, but please don't stop loving me. He knelt on the ground, crying bitterly begging forgiveness. The surrounding onlookers advised me. Couples fight at bedhead and reconcile at bedtail. This guy looks sincere, girl, forgive him once. Everyone makes mistakes, rare is knowing and correcting them. I raised my hand, stepped forward to him. Snatched the painting, then took the lighter from the bodyguard. Under Jason's expectant gaze, Click ignited it. The yellowed paper slowly turned to ashes, his eyes dimmed. It's gone, our fate burned out long ago. Someone couldn't stand it and cursed me, you women are so petty, wish you can't find a man later, go be a nun. As soon as he spoke, a steady voice came through the crowd. My girlfriend, when is it your turn to judge? The capital's business tycoon, known to all. Seeing I was Harlan's person, they left sorry and scurried faster than rats. In an instant, only Jason remained stiff in place. He scooped the black ashes, trying to pack them in clothes. But a gust of wind easily carried them away, scattering to corners. No. Don't do this to me. As Jason yelled to the sky, Harlan held my hand into the car. Jason reacted, running after the car shouting. Roselle, Roselle. The voice grew smaller, the last scene was him falling flat like a dog eating dirt. Harlan held my hand, as always gentle, asking what I wanted to eat. I had roughly told him about the events of these years. I also knew he was just the calm before the storm. Sure enough, days later, I learned from others. Jason was driven out of the capital, escorted back to Shanghai. Without his disturbance, I enjoyed peace. 2 months later. Overwhelming online reports. G Group declared bankruptcy. The former favored son Jason suspected of madness. Videos about Jason spread wildly. In the video, he sat on an amusement park bench, demeanor like a madman, also like a child. Mouth murmuring, Mom, where is Mom? He clenched fists, rubbing eyes, crying while looking at the nearby vendor. Minutes later, as if patience exhausted, he angrily approached. "Sister, why aren't you coming to draw for me? You have to coax me." The 5-year-old girl was startled and cried wah. The girl's family called the police. Jason was sent to a mental hospital. That year's story won't repeat, while my life heads towards the bright sun.